AskReddit by Cool. What are some laws everyone claims they agree should be changed, but no one is making any real effort to do so? Civil asset forfeiture. It is the legal highway robbery where cops can take your stuff, typically cash, without needing proof or charging you of a crime. The department often gets a percentage of the take from the feds. The only way you can get it back is to sue them for it. You'll probably spend more on legal fees than the money they stole. There is a little bit of movement on it in some states, but holy crap, that should never have been allowed in the first place. The Constitution protects us from unreasonable search and seizure, but apparently Congress made the loophole. I don't understand how it made it through with the Fourth Amendment. That should have been declared unconstitutional immediately. 1. Commercials on TVs are not allowed to be louder than the regular programming. It's illegal but hard to prove. 2. Supporting pollinator gardens, but people being okay with the fact that natural habitats don't look tidy. Commercials aren't louder, technically. It's just that shows are allowed to have loud noises, like explosions. They put the volume of commercials on explosion level for the entirety. They walk right up to the line of illegal and don't step over it. It's up to the provider to police this. If they don't catch it and someone else does, it's a giant FCC fine. But yes, that limit needs to be changed to reflect what's worthy of that level of volume. Either that or all TV systems need to come with their own equalizer so we can control blanket sound levels on our end. Dental and vision should be covered by standard health insurance, not as separate policies. Dentists are the ones who don't want insurance to cover their services. It gives them a lot more leeway on how they run their practices. Copyright law in the US currently protects things for so long that it's often just ignored. At a certain point, copyright changed from a protection for the author to trading cards for corporations. Gaping loopholes that allow lawmakers to accept bribes. That and them being explicitly exempt from insider trading. Ticketmaster's absolutely horrible and corrupt ways. Their blatant theft and monopolized control of a whole industry. MN Senator Amy Klobuchar is actually starting to work on this. She's the senior senator of the state, and she's very persistent. Let's hope she makes some headway. Tax simplification. On top of this, why not a federal software program that simply continuously takes your information in so you know exactly how much you owe at any given moment? Instead, you wait until the year is done, calculate it all yourself, then hope the government agrees with your calculation. I ask this, but I, of course, know why. The tax prep lobby is ridiculous. Drug reform. Healthcare reform. Congress profiteering. Old people need to get retested for driver's license. 100%. My 89-year-old aunt basically had to beg the DMV to renew her license. Poor folks, they tried to stall as much as they could, but legally here they can't withhold it from her. A couple years ago, she ended up going down the wrong way on an exit ramp. Thankfully we live a rural life and no one was harmed, but JFC, you'd think they would have taken her license from her back then. Restrict stock purchases and enforce insider trading laws for any government employee who is involved in enacting policies that will affect companies, primarily Congress. Daylight savings. The Senate passed a bill to change it permanently last year, but the House couldn't get their shit together. Civil forfeiture. https://yahoo.be/3kepzwgjksix_8licjkedcs76z. Lobbying of politicians. In North Carolina there is a law that says, in simplified terms, if a woman says yes once, she cannot retract consent in the middle, regardless of how rough or abusive it gets. There has been some politicians trying to change it, but I haven't heard of any actual change. Luckily that loophole was apparently closed in 2019. https://www.nbcnews.com/think/opinion/north-carolina-s-law-loophole-was-only-closed bracket. Outlaw pharmacy benefits managers, PBMs, and their overpaid sales reps while you're at it. They are the #1 reason why your medical bills are so goddamn high, followed closely by our horrid patent laws for medicine and medical devices. Marijuana being illegal. I looked it up recently. Results from Pew here: recreational use. 59% of Americans support full legalization and 30% support medical marijuana. 89% of Americans approve of legalizing it in some capacity. Getting 89% of Americans to agree on literally anything is almost impossible, yet for some reason that 11% has been able to keep it illegal for large portions of the country. It's because police love it being illegal, since it lets them justify searches, and even seizures, by claiming they caught a whiff of it. Outlawing civil asset forfeiture because as practiced today it is a blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment. Taking people's money and assets without even needing a criminal complaint is just insane. Silencers on the NFA. Entrapment laws. The bar is set so high entrapment is no longer a defense. SBRs 2. You can legally own a stock, but God forbid you put that on a gun with a 15.99 barrel. Straight to jail, unless of course you pay the government $200. Blurring Japanese porn. Everyone there probably agrees that it's unnecessary, however any prime minister or politician who advocates for it and pushes to get it changed instantly becomes the porn guy and probably kills their career. Also, I don't really know what Japanese people think. They are a vastly different culture that's simultaneously more conservative and reserved in some ways and way more liberal in others. This gerrymandering shit is never going to go away. Daylight savings. Employment laws in the US are archaic and people don't realize it until they are on the losing end of a situation. Yup, I live in a state with at will employment. Meaning they can fire you at any time, for any reason, or for no reason at all. Reform surrounding service animals and emotional support animals. I know a few people that have actual service animals who absolutely hate people that expect ES animals to be treated the same. There should be legal certification for a service animal that can be presented when requested, and there is no reason any animal that is trained as a service animal should not receive that certification. There should be a pocket with a clear front on it on service animal vests, and they should keep a license in it that the service animal receives upon completion of training. Civil forfeit and filial support laws also, where it still exists lifetime alimony that prevents the payer from retirement. What changes does everyone agree on about filial support laws? And the vast majority of states in the US no longer have lifetime alimony, so that's not a good example of something where no action has been taken. But it's one of those issues where ignorant people give all sorts of legal advice online and other ignorant people believe them. My state hasn't had lifetime alimony in like 20 years, but most people think we do. There's like 7 states that still have it, but there's been a slow yet steady move against it. Eliminating daylight savings time.